Matt Pocket, Laker head coach Steve Hettinga here, preseason, as the Lakers are just a couple of weeks away from opening up the 2024-25 season. Steve, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. You excited?
Very excited.
Here we go. Picked to finish first in the conference. We all know, right, that preseason polls are everything, right? I mean,
oh yeah,
they've never failed to get the correct order, so might as well just I'm being sarcastic here, but
yeah.
what's it like to be picked preseason number one in the league?
Well, I think it just maybe goes a little bit to show the season that we ended up with last year, and then we have a lot of returners. The teams that finished 1-2 last year lost pieces, but we know they're going to reload versus restart, so to speak. So it's a feather in the cap, but as you said, it means nothing on paper. Where people pick you or all of those different things are all just prognosticators that know something maybe or not. I hope that they're correct at the end of the day, but it doesn't get us any wins, that's for sure.
This team is loaded, and we saw this team make a run to the Sweet 16 last season in the NCAA tournament. How do you feel with a summer of preparation now going into this campaign with so many returners?
I feel good. I think everybody feels good at this time of the year. You're undefeated. I guess we'll know a lot more in a couple weeks when we get our first couple games under our belt. But having that trip to Italy this summer, I think that really helped, kind of blend in the new guys a little bit and kind of see the pieces that we have now. I mean, certainly losing Xander Okerlund. It's a different team. Last year's team, you put that in a bucket and that season's over. So this is a brand new one with new guys and different guys picking up minutes and those type of things. So the fact that we did have Italy, like I said, I think it was helpful for us to kind of build some more camaraderie and togetherness and have the guys play together. It got us an extra 10 days of practice, which I think was important. But how we're practicing now and trying to I think everybody's ready to play a game and play somebody else besides ourselves in practice.
What have you noticed in development from these guys from last year to this year so far?
I think they have an understanding of what it takes to get to the level that they want to go to or get to the type of games, getting to that Sweet 16 last year and seeing the teams that were there. Obviously the Final Four of that Sweet 16 was us, Ferris, Indy. I mean, just to see those type of teams play against each other and to beat the teams that we had beaten, Walsh and Upper Iowa, it's like when you're there seeing those teams, it just felt different. And I think what I'm hoping, I guess I shouldn't say what I think, what I hope is that taste in their mouths that, man, that they want to do that again. And, it just doesn't happen overnight. And, you got to have some luck and all of those things. But I think the preparation is what I'm seeing right now. I mean, we see a ton of guys in the gym getting extra work and guys that are, they want to come in for film. I think our guys have a genuine need to want to get better, which is what we're hoping for.
You've recruited really well out of a couple of giant high schools downstate. In particular, Ann Arbor Huron has been the big one in recent years. You've got 3 guys from that school. At one point, you had 4 guys all from that school. Tyson Edmondson, who was first-team All-GLIAC, Devin Womack, Midwest Regional All-Tournament team, Kingsley Perkins. Wow, I mean, his accolade list from last season, first-team All-GLIAC, All-Defensive Team, Defensive Player of the Year, Midwest Regional All-Tournament team. These guys have all been together for a very long time. What's that dynamic like, having played together for so long?
Well, much better than I anticipated, as far as you always worry about if you get 2 kids from the same high school, and in this case 3, how are they going to get along with everybody? Are they going to have their own little clique? It's never been that way. They've been upfront and open with all their teammates. They've been great teammates together for everybody. So they know each other well. I mean, they know when they're cutting and when they're moving and how they act. And I think even more importantly, they know how to pick each other up. They clown on each other a lot, which is great, but they also pick each other up in down times. And if they're not having a good practice, they know how they have that kind of look at each other. And having Devin there, and then just the leadership that we've gotten from Kingsley and Tyson as seniors now. They are completely different players than they were as freshmen as far as the maturity level. Their work ethic has always been great. They were well coached in high school, which is one of the main reasons we recruited them. But just I think their togetherness, and like you said, they've been playing together now for the better part of 7-8 years. So I mean, they have chemistry, and it's undeniable.
It's very rare to find in college basketball two guys who have been together that long. Sometimes maybe you had a year together in AAU or something like that, and maybe you played a couple of games against each other, but never this kind of consistency.
Absolutely, and I think it shows on the court. Obviously, that's where you really want it to show up, and practices are great and all those other things, but those three together that's a heck of a trio. And then we have 3 other seniors that are right there that have played with these guys for the better part of the 4 years as well, and they all have great chemistry together. So it's a nice thing for me to have, is to have this kind of seniors that have played together so long, that have great chemistry, that like each other on and off the court. But not only that, but they're just great people.
Guy at Croswell Lexington High School really starred last year, Hunter Soper. This kid was incredible. He was kind of a role player, plugged some gaps for you over the last couple of years. This last season as a junior, he blows up and looks like a superstar almost every time out there. What did you see in him that told you this guy is ready for this role?
I just think the confidence, obviously he played behind Keemon Bassett and Caden Ebling, 2 guys that were first-team all-conference players, and I think it was just more about opportunity for him. And then once he got it, that first game last year in that crossover, I mean, he hits 5 or 6 threes or whatever it was. It might have been 7, but he just came out of the blocks, and I think that game was just kind of the aha moment for him, that, man, I am good. I think he always thought he was good. He had a great high school career, did some really good things, obviously, as a freshman, sophomore, but that was a limited role for him. And then obviously last year people are like, where'd this guy come from? And we are all like, man, he's had that the whole time. But it just needed the opportunity to play more, and he certainly grabbed that with both hands, and was a great player for us. I can't tell you the number of people that watch us play, and they say, hey, you know who my favorite player is to watch? And I kind of nod my head because I think I know their answer. He's just that guy. I mean, he's got that personality, that huge smile, never gets sped up, never gets down on himself. I mean, he's always the same guy every day. When any coach would ask, what attribute do you want in a player? I mean, I want consistency. And I know exactly what I'm getting from Hunter Soper every night on the floor, and he brings that same consistency to practice every day. He's almost a 4.0 student. I mean, he's where he's supposed to be all the time, and I can't give him a better compliment than that.
I seem to remember too, over the last couple of years, after the games, some guys tend to come out and shoot around a little bit, particularly guys on the end of the bench. He was always the first one out onto the court after the game because he was like, okay, I want to get a couple of shots up before we're done. Yeah,
I mean, that goes just hand in hand with who he is. And a lot of the guys, that will change if they have family and friends up, but it never changes with Hunter. Like, they understand, like, all right, we're going to catch him later for dinner another hour, or they'll be waiting in the hallway. Like, I know he's going to shoot. I mean, they have no problem. They just know who he is.
They'll rebound for him.
yeah, there's no question.
Some new additions to the team. Let's start with Harrison Sorrell. What can you tell us about him?
Really good player. I mean, obviously we recruited him out of high school very heavily, chose to go to the Air Force Academy and went to the prep school there. They wanted him to go to prep school for a year, but he's a 6'6" point guard. Very, very good shooter, really good defender as well, very active. Certainly see a big role with him on our team this year. Where he's going to fit in and what position, we're still working that out. But he's very capable of playing any of the guard positions, 1, 2, and 3. But just been a positive person. Again, another 3.7 and above student. But just off the floor, he's got a really, really good personality. He's a very happy person in general. So it's rare that you see him where he doesn't, hey, smile, hey, what's up, coach? He's always in a good mood, which is, have those kind of people. You want to keep bringing more and more of those guys in. But on the floor, I think people, Lake State fans, are going to really enjoy watching him play because he plays the right way, shares the ball, very, very good passer, but an excellent shooter. And like I said, played point guard in high school, so he's got that ability to create a little bit, which is something that I think this team needs.
Let's move on to the 6'5", 215-pound Muskegon native, TJ Davis.
Yeah, TJ's coming in right now. He's really trying to figure some things out. He's behind some of our other guys right now because he's kind of a numbers game with him, but certainly coming in and trying to figure things out as a true freshman. But balancing everything that the first year in college has to offer, and I think he's got a lot of room for improvement. I think he's gonna be a good player in our system at some point. It might be a little bit down the road for him.
6'3", 170 out of Grosse Pointe South High School, Carter Richards.
Yeah, Carter's interesting. He's kind of a guy after practice when we kind of discuss practice, and his name gets brought up a lot because he's just so sneaky. He's one of the better offensive rebounders I've seen at his position, where he gets a ton of offensive rebounds that you think there's no way he should be getting in it, because you said 6'3". What did you say his weight was? 170?
Yeah, that's what it's listed.
That's generous.
Yeah.
He's scrappy. Like he gets in there against the post players. He's not afraid to bang in there, and he's battling against some of our 220-pound guys. He's giving it to them, and our guys are like, "Yeah, Carter." It's kind of a surprise for some of our guys, but it's not a surprise for me. And I told them, like the first week of practice, I said, "Listen, I know we always get our point guards back on the shot, but I said, if you see opportunities, go. Trust your instincts and go get them." But very good player. His dad's a high school women's coach, very involved as a player. Their whole family is they're all athletes from mom down to all of his brothers and sisters. He's going to be a really good player. Like I really like Carter and what he's bringing to the table right now.
A year and a half ago, Fairleigh Dickinson goes through the round of 64 in the NCAA Division I men's basketball tournament for the first time in their history. They then bring in Michigan's Mr. Basketball, a guy by the name of Tyler Jamison. He's now at Lake Superior State.
Yes, he is.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
What a find. Number one, how did that happen? And number two, how pumped are you to have this kid whose numbers back in high school are ridiculous?
Yeah. Tyler came up, I thought, when he was first being recruited by us, 2 years ago, we thought we had a great shot at him. His uncle played basketball here. His dad I knew from my days at Olivet, and his dad was at Albion. We had a lot of similarities and a lot of cross paths kind of moments. But we really liked Tyler, obviously, and then he ends up blowing up when he commits to Fairleigh Dickinson kind of a little bit later. We were disappointed that we didn't get him, but he got a D1 offer. He said, if I get a D1 offer, I'd like to certainly entertain that. I probably would go Division I if I got an offer. He gets the offer from Fairleigh Dickinson, as you said, and he commits. But I'm not sure in all of my tenure that we had a better visit on a kid than we did with him. He came to, we had a cookout, and our guys were there. They were throwing footballs around, and it was just a great visit. I felt great. Like I thought, man, we have a really good shot at this kid. And, he commits to Fairleigh Dickinson and then becomes Mr. Basketball. And I'm like, oh, gosh darn it. I thought we could have had Mr. Basketball, and yada, yada. But hits the transfer portal, and certainly we reached out to him rather quickly. And he had a lot of schools in the GLIAC that were on him, and we were the one that he chose. So I think we did something right in the visit before that really made him keep us in the back of his mind. I'm sure he was all in at Fairleigh Dickinson when he was there, but we're happy that he's here, and I know he's all in here.
6'5", 210, 26.7 points per game his senior year in the state of Michigan, 11.6 rebounds, 4.6 assists, 3.3 steals per game. Oh, man. I'm getting sweaty reciting those numbers off. That is unbelievable. I mean, You just have to fan yourself off a little bit. Like, okay, well, what else does he do? Does he jump out of the ceiling? What does he do?
Yeah, he's
Holy
got
cow.
close to a 40-inch vertical.
That's absurd.
Which I think kind of goes to the point of his rebounding numbers. And that's the one thing in practices right now that he has brought. I mean, he crashes the boards on every shot, and he is tough to keep off the glass because he is very, very strong. So having him and Adam Harikow, who's another 6'7", 220-pound plus kid that are crashing the boards. I mean, you look at our team and they're doing layups and, walking into the airport or whatever. We have big dudes. I mean, we have a lot of 6'6" and above guys. I mean, we don't have any footers. We don't got no 7-footers, but we got a lot of 6'5" to 6'7" guys. And, they obviously get her done in the weight room. And the one thing, like I said, about Tyler that I could add about him and Harrison is that Tyler's very much a penetration guy, create guy, much better passer than I thought watching him in practice. He really makes good decisions. And like I said, he's an attack guy, certainly capable shooter from three, but man, he hits those boards hard and goes to the rim hard with the ball, and one of the faster people we've seen with the ball.
When you look at this team, who do you think is the next breakout guy, because there always seems to be one every year for this team. Somebody who maybe just played, 5 minutes a game the year before. It was kind of Devin Womack and Hunter Soper last year, but who's the next one like them?
First one that would come to mind would be Adam Harricow. I think he's, over my tenure here, I think we've had the most improvement from freshman to sophomore year with our guys. I think Devin and Hunter, that kind of was their sophomore to junior year because of opportunity. But I think Adam, he's in the gym as much, if not more than everybody on our team. Really puts in the time. I think he's much more mature this year than he was last year as far as wanting to learn the game more and learn our system. I think he kind of came in last year and relied on his athleticism to try to get him through situations. This year, I think he's trying to create more mental focus and mental habits to be successful. He's very, very focused, and I'm very, very excited about how he's played thus far. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up Andy Soma, who I really think I was talking to our athletic director this morning. He might be our most improved player, and it's hard to say that as a fifth-year senior. But he is very confident right now in his shooting ability, and he is certainly our best on-ball defender we have, one of the better ones I've ever had. So he's certainly a guy that's going to play a lot. He's always a guy that I want in the game late because of his defense and his ability just to get stops, and he's so smart with the ball.
The motto for this team over the last several years has been enjoy the journey.
Yes.
I think for a lot of guys, they're looking at Sweet 16 last year. Let's get back to that. But ever Mr. Consistent Steve Hettinga, I would think your thing is, guys, just enjoy this. Enjoy every moment, and the results will come with that.
Yeah, I think you obviously have to be process-driven versus outcome-driven, and that's what we try to preach to our guys. And certainly our focus now is we have a scrimmage tomorrow and another scrimmage on Saturday. And then our focus obviously going to be on Carson Newman, the first game out of the gate. And they were a team that went to the Sweet 16 last year, and I looked at their roster and stats and watched a few of their games already, and they have their top 12 guys back. So not one guy did they lose. So
unreal.
They're bringing. It's going to be two teams that have a lot of returning guys with expectations and all those things. So we're excited for that. That's my focus right now, is to try to what can I do in the next 10 days to prepare our guys best for that incredible challenge that we'll have down there in Florida.
It seems hard to believe that you've got so many teams in the Sweet 16 that just didn't lose anybody, but here we are, and the Lakers are certainly one of them. The first home game at Bud Cooper Gymnasium, November 15th against Indy, and I just had the mental image in my head of those crowds that we had last year and just how nuts that place was. I can't wait. Here we go.
I know. And Indy, only the number one team in the region last year, so we'll just have our home opener with them. No, we're excited that'll be obviously down the road, but they're a great program too, so we'll figure that out when we get there.
These crowds are going to be great again here at Bud Cooper this season. Steve, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.